Shetty. Okay.
No worries.
A very good afternoon and a warm welcome to all those present with us here today. My name is Kanti Suresh Shetty, and I'm happy to serve the Student Society of Real Estate in the capacity of the president of the Students Real Estate Club at UTA. I'm happy to introduce Dr. Sriram Villapuram, who is the advisor for the real estate program, College of Business at UTA. Dr. Andrew Hans is the advisor and mentor for the Student Society of Real Estate and also a professor with the real estate program. We have with us here today the SSRE officers, Lucia, Eric, Cody, Lee, and Lauren. Thank you for being here with us today. And I invite all the guests too. And as I would like to sound positive, like Ms. Lynch and all of us discussed today, I would say it is a pleasant and blessed day. The students are getting ready to graduate, and some of the students are planning to enroll in a program to mold the future. And some of them are still wondering, what do I do? And some of them are wondering, well, should I pursue a career in real estate? So, well, we have a solution for you. And here we have Ms. Julie Lynch. And thanks to UTD, the Real Estate Club, Arden, Alondro, and Alam for helping me put this event together. And the I would pass this on to Alondro for introducing Ms. Julie as well. Thank you so much.
Awesome. So my name is Alejandro Jimenez. I am the current vice president along with Amlan for the UT Dallas Real Estate Club. To begin, I just want to talk a little bit about our club and what we try to do for our students. We mostly try to provide informative insights to the various careers of real estate, as well as connect students to important internships they can apply to. We actually send out internships like on a monthly basis. And when it comes to events, we have people from all the different types of careers in real estate, whether it be property management, private equity, asset management. We really try to give our members a broad overview of different career paths they can take and some good skill sets that they might need for those paths. To give a little more insight on that, for example, earlier this month we had a workshop at Argus, also led by our wonderful Associate Director, Professor Lynch. To introduce her, she, like I said, is an Associate Director for the Real Estate Program at UTD. She has many years of experience in the real estate industry and has been a great mentor to me, as well as Arden, in helping us, figure out our place in the world. And so, Conti, I don't know if you want to give any more insight about Professor Lynch or if we're going to hand it off to her.
Ms. Lynch, over to you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to come and speak with everybody today about getting a job in commercial real estate. Maybe it's optimistic thinking, but I feel like I was just your age not too long ago navigating the same challenges. But fast forward, I've been in commercial real estate over 30 years. I've held positions that represent every phase of the life cycle of an asset. So right out of college, I started as a market analyst for the largest office developer in Washington, D.C., which led to a position for running Nations Bank. That's after 3 mergers and acquisitions, but ultimately ran Nations Bank Market Research Division. I've underwritten over $10 billion in commercial real estate over my career. I continue to actively coach executives on their investment decisions in real estate. And I must say, I've never worked with anybody in commercial real estate who wasn't passionate about it. There's so much opportunity. How many careers can you say that you're helping to build society and communities and you're leaving legacies behind? So it is extremely invigorating. The market is always changing, creating new challenges and opportunities for learning. And certainly we're making better investment decisions these days with the technology tools that we have in place. So, From a job perspective, I know when you graduate from college, it can seem overwhelming to navigate the work world. When I graduated from college, there were 1,000 different careers to choose from. Your generation is fortunate to have 10,000 careers to choose from. So although it is wonderful to have that numerous opportunity, at the same time, it can seem overwhelming. And where do you possibly start in obtaining a position in commercial real estate? The good news is that 1 in every 6 jobs has to do with real estate, and real estate really accounts for 17 to 18% of uh, out there, and you don't have to be pigeonholed in the same position forever. Like I said, I've done appraisal work. I've done
We lost her there, huh, Arden?
Yeah, I didn't know if it was just me. Let me check.
Yeah, I think we lost her.
Yeah, I guess the internet.
There
Oh.
you go. Probably it's that lady just keeps talking about her career. Let's cut her off. So the point in that story is not to, boast about the career successes I've had, but more to talk about you're not pigeonholed in one particular role. Alejandro, do you mind throwing up the PowerPoint slide? I think that's a good segue into slide number 2. Which really is, in commercial real estate, it takes a team to get a project underway, not just one particular person. And there's several seats, if you will, at the project team table. Everybody's looking at that project, evaluating the same information, but from a different perspective, probably through a different, risk perspective, where lenders tend to be more risk adverse than maybe an opportunistic investor, and that appraiser's right in the middle of the spectrum in terms of assessing risk. At the end of the day, if you understand market research and you're proficient in cash flow modeling, you could have any of these seats at the table and switch around the seats as you navigate through your career. Now, I will say in the 30 years that I've been in commercial real estate, there has been, and not just commercial real estate, all industries, I'm seeing it, there's a lot more specialization now within the industry. And so you'll find, you'll speak as an example to a tenant rep broker, and they'll say, I only do tenant rep office for small to mid-sized companies, or I do, investment sales only for core assets in office. But, at the end of the day, there's a lot of different opportunities. And as you navigate through your career, you'll become more specialized. Initially, what's just important is getting that access to a lot of deal flow and understanding how real estate works. I mean, the thing that's so invigorating about this career is that no 2 deals are alike, and the external forces are always changing, whether it's the economy, the environment, how capital's being underwritten. So really just getting that deal flow under you so you can understand as much about real estate as you can. And I did a focus group study. I have a consulting firm, Lennis Talent Management, and we do recruiting, temporary staffing, and training for the commercial real estate industry. And when I did a focus group with one of my investment banking clients and asked them, how long does it take to get an analyst to be proficient modeling in cash flows when they see deals every day, all day long and working? And the answer came out the same from both the vice presidents in one room and the startup analyst. And they said it takes about 18 to 24 months to become proficient. So when you're looking at an opportunity, and it's important to understand and realize the benefits and opportunities for working for different size companies. So the bigger the company, the more narrowly focused you're going to be, but you may see a greater volume of deal flow. So as an example, during my banking environment, at any one time, I was inside of 20 different companies looking at 20 different real estate investment opportunities. Contrarily, when I went to work for a small real estate investment firm, we would invest for high net worth individuals in portfolios of assets. We could only handle one portfolio at a time because we were just a team of 6. So, so the good news is you had the opportunity to have a wider exposure to one deal versus the volume shop where you see a lot of deal flow, but you're more narrowly focused in one particular area. Okay, so that's kind of just a little bit of a backdrop in terms of careers in commercial real estate. There are just so many you can go in. Did I tell you did appraisal work too? Yeah, I've done that too. So I'm looking at all of them. There's just so much opportunity, you know. Okay, so go ahead. Do you mind, Alejandro, and advance into the next slide? So how I recommend you approach your job search is thinking of yourself as a product. It's no different than selling a computer or, you know, a certain brand of tennis shoes. It starts first with coming out with a product strategy and roadmap. And then secondly, thinking about how you're going to position yourself and the messaging, and then your go-to-market plan, and then amplifying, if you will, your experiences and successes. So let's talk about first that first phase, which is the product and strategy roadmap. And again, there's so much opportunity now. Arden mentioned she's heading back down to Austin to work after she graduates here in a couple weeks. And if I think about the Austin market and what the economic drivers are there, right now it's very tech driven in terms of the office environment. If I think about what's happening in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, it's really being driven by a lot of industrial demand as a result of the e-commerce and transportation channels. So my first suggestion is where is it you want to live, and figure out what the economic drivers are in that particular market as it relates to real estate. So in other words, if you feel like the inertia is in one asset class type, you may start pursuing opportunities within that particular asset class type because there's going to be more of them happening, okay? And then be very cognizant of where the national economy is. I guess what? You folks are in the driver's seat. There's not enough young people to fill the jobs that are available. Don't be fooled by those unemployment rates. Those are individuals who are working in those consumer to consumer positions like retail, like restaurant. We are still in full employment as it relates to professional services and in real estate. So that being said, understand your market value, which is I am seeing young people graduating with a degree in finance and business, concentration in real estate. They're getting somewhere, and I know it's a wide range, but it's somewhere between 55 and 73,000 a year for undergraduate, okay? And of course, that doesn't include bonus. If that align with your interest and work with the natural inertia. And when you go to interview for the jobs, find out what is the employer's onboard.
We hear you now.
I stopped. I know. So I apologize for that. I must have weak signal today. So what training and support are they going to provide you to help make you successful? You know, I will be honest with you. What I find with my clients is their expectations with individuals coming out of college and what they can actually do. There's a gap. Okay. And so you need to tell them college gave me a great ability to think more deeply and use critical thinking and learn the acumen of real estate, but it's really this job that's going to give me the market skills to be successful. So tell me, what training and support do you offer to help make me successful? I think that's an important part of your hiring decision. Also, you know, you could be in an entry-level position for a company that does exactly what another company does, but the cultures are very different. So I just did a placement with a company this week where they said, we're all about family, work-life balance, and you know, the core values, I'm going to say, of trust, integrity, you know, etc. I have another client who has the exact same position, and their motto is hard charging, high performance, and goal obtainment. Same job, two different companies, very different cultures. So again, asking questions about the culture in which you're going to work in is very important too, because you spend more time at work than you do at home, okay? And what we're hearing from the COVID dynamic right now is the individuals who are new to the workforce being onboarded feel at a huge disadvantage in that they're not in the office getting the support and collaboration from other team members. They feel somewhat I won't say abandoned, but isolated and not as supported as they would if they were going into the office. So I would be asking, what is their COVID protocol and the go forward plan? Okay. Alejandro, you want to get us to the next slide?
This one's actually
And
blank, Professor Lynch. I don't know if that's a...
Yeah, this is a great blank slate. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead to the next slide, sir. For you to chart your course. Okay, yeah, this was just an example. Be situationally aware in the local market. What's driving that local economy? So there you go. Next slide, Alejandro. Thank you. I wonder if you have the right deck. Oh, this is more about economy. Go ahead and push through it. Yeah, go ahead. This is more about the economy. Okay, branding yourself. This is extremely important. We're going back to the analogy. If you're a product, you're developing your roadmap based on what the economy says, based on where you want to work. Next is managing your brand. Okay, very important to always never let your guard down. Make sure you always are dressed professionally. You should dress for the next level position. So if you're interviewing for an entry-level position, you should dress like you're interviewing for a mid-level manager position. If you have tattoos, I personally don't care if you have tattoos, but as long as the people running the companies are older and they're not as embracing of body art, you probably need to cover those tattoos, have limited piercings, haircuts. I've heard clients say to me, Julie, can you talk to this young man? His hair's touching his collar. I didn't think it's a thing, but for them, it's a thing. So know your audience. The people hiring you are in their late 50s or 60s. They're traditional folks by and large, and they expect loose-fitting clothing, not today's style with tight, loose-fitting clothing, professional attire. Don't wear perfume or cologne. And just pull yourself off as professional as possible. The other thing is believe me, they're looking at your Instagram, they're looking at your Facebook, so don't have anything there you wouldn't want them to see. I've gotten a resume before that said partyrockstar@gmail.com. That's not the right image to send, okay? So make sure the highest level of professionalism, make sure that you're managing your brand, even in a social setting. My own children who are now, 5 to 8 years out of college, they've had friends from college get them introductions to their current jobs. So never let your guard down in terms of managing your brand. Carry yourself with the highest level of professionalism. Number 2 is the universities are chock full with so many great resources, from research and job boards and helping you write a cover letter and a resume. Leverage those free resources. And most universities, even after you graduate, you can come back and use those resources. So your resume is what gets you in the door. So please include on there, if you're going for a job in real estate, any real estate specific things you can point to. If you did a case competition, if you did a real estate project in a class, if you've got Argus cash flow modeling, put it all down there under your, not only your degree, but relevant coursework and projects, okay? The next thing I'll say is developing your elevator pitch. People who are interviewing you can't help you if you don't know yourself what you want to do. And I know it's hard at your age because you just don't have the experience having worked in a lot of positions. But there's a way to make your elevator pitch general enough, but yet it puts a listener in a more targeted view of things you might be looking for. So as an example, if you said to me, pretend I'm a student, what is it that you want to do in commercial real estate? And you might say, well, I really would like to work on the equity side of equation with a mid to small company where I can have exposure to a wider ranging responsibilities as we're working through real estate investments. That kind of puts somebody in the fairway, but it's not so specific that you're eliminating yourself from various options, okay? That kind of gets them into the fairway. So again, it's got to be succinct, but yet general enough that it will encapsulate. Maybe somebody says, I'd really like to work on the debt side of the equation, having access to a lot of deal flow so I can really burn through the learning curve as quickly as possible, that kind of thing. So make sure you do your elevator pitch and have it prepared. If you can't articulate what your goals are, then someone is not really in the position to help guide and steer you.
Professor Lynch, I wanted to hear your thoughts on one of my favorite things somebody told me about an elevator pitch. That is,
okay.
you need to cover 3 things. Who are you? Why should we care? And why are you here?
Good.
Right?
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alejandro, that's an excellent point. I was going to say, put yourself in the listener's perspective. People want to know that you want to come, you're going to be a hard worker, and you're going to stay. Okay, so they don't want to hear, well, I want to do this for a while, then I'd like to try something totally different, right?
Yeah.
But you just said, but to your point, Alejandro, if you say, I really want to join a company that's growing, that I have the opportunity to grow with, and I'm willing to work very hard and learn as much as I can to help contribute to the team, right?
Beautiful.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up.
On to the next. Having some connection issues, but I think she was done with the slide. Let's see. Oh, that's not good.
So what I tell you is when you go to look for a job, it's statistics. The more pokers you put in the fire, the more likely something is to ignite, okay? And it's a multi-channeled approach. Alejandro, go ahead and click so all the words come up. Okay, so it's the multi-channel approach. And if you think of a funnel and the wide part being at the top, that's showing here. There are things like job boards. Selectleaders.com is just for real estate. Handshake is what you have at school in the Career Center. You have LinkedIn and Career Builder. Now, your chances of getting a job off the internet are between 8 and 12%. 8 and 12%. It's basically needle in a haystack. If I throw something against the wall, will it stick? And I'll tell you, my husband was unemployed for a year. He applied for 1,500 jobs, 1,500, and got one, okay? It's a numbers game, okay? Again, is needle in the haystack. It's like trying to find your mate in the middle of all these people flying around. There's a lot of noise you got to dig through to get to someone who really has the qualifications for what they're looking for. So your chances of getting a job off a job board is between 8 and 12%. Good thing to do is another way to touch the masses but have a little more impact as you move down this funnel is do a speaking engagement. Arden, how did you get your job where you are currently?
Speaking engagement.
There you go. Okay. So she had a lot of focus on her with a large group of people. She was so impressive. She got a call next week to come down and she got a job offer. Okay. So again, the more you can do at the top end of the funnel, you're hitting the masses, but your likelihood of success is less. Okay, so now we're coming down the funnel in terms of networking. Real estate, write this down, bold caps, stars. Real estate is a relationship-driven business. You will get more opportunities by connecting with people in the real estate industry. And it's human nature. What research tells us is when you meet with somebody face to face, they feel more obligated to help you. You've had this human connection and people are empathetic to wanting to help other people. Part of my strategy as the head of the real estate club is I don't arrange the events. I have the students reach out to the market, build a relationship with the market professionals, let the market professionals see how professional they are in setting up events and their knowledge about real estate. And again, I got a call this week that says, Julie, one of your board members was so impressive how she handled the programming for the last event. We want to hire her. Don't tell her, but we want to hire her. Okay, so get in front of industry professionals. How do you do that? Well, one is get involved in events at school like the real estate club. We just had at our university, we had mock online interviews with career professionals. Participate in case competitions. Ask for informational interviews. I mean, asking those informational interviews, it is twofold. One, they're impressed that you're taking the time to research and network, and it gives you an opportunity to talk about your experiences at school, some of the cases you've done at school, some of the projects you've completed, and now you're building a rapport, okay? So again, the further you come down this funnel, the more time it takes, but the more impactful the touches are. Your professors, as we're coming down that funnel, are very powerful people. Why? People call us all the time and say, we've got a job. Can you point out a star performer? So they're looking at classroom engagement. Do they get their work done and on time? And how do they participate and carry themselves at school? So very, very important. LinkedIn is a very powerful tool. What I will say about the bad news about LinkedIn is you can only put one resume versus typically if you're applying for a brokerage job, you may highlight different activities versus if you're going for a financial analyst job versus if you're going for an appraiser job, okay? So LinkedIn, you only have one resume that you can post. So making that resume as professional as possible and getting it in LinkedIn is very important. Now, when you apply for jobs, whether it's through whatever vehicle you apply, my next step would be to find somebody who works at that company through LinkedIn and contact that person and say, hi, I'm Conti. I'm from UTA, and I'm interested in working at Goldman Sachs. I see you work there too. I'm applying for a financial analyst role. Is there some advice you have for me to help me with getting the opportunity there? And they might say, Conti, you need to send your resume to Sally Smith, or Conti, and you talk about your cash flow experience at school, you know, that kind of thing. Don't just talk to one person, get in as many as you can, because remember, there's a flurry of these resumes they're digging through. But if Sally Brown comes up and says, hey, I spoke to Conti, she put her name in for
I think we lost her again.
I guess I got the job.
Arden, you want to finish the slide?
Yeah, Arden, go.
Go ahead.
Oh, darn it. Okay. Okay. So, when again, it's a multi-tiered approach. If you find a job at an opportunity, then try to find someone else you can connect with. You don't have to know them. You can just say, hey, I see you've worked there for 8 years. I could use some advice on how to approach the executive management here at this particular company. And you'll find people will take compassion and want to help you. Okay. Continuing to come down those funnels, the case competitions, I can't tell you how many students, I write case competitions for industry associations, and I can't tell you how many sidebar conversations come from the judges that say, wow, did you see number 3 student? They were so impressive with their analysis, their ability to communicate. I would be honored to have that person come work for us. When companies are hiring you out of college, they're hiring you with a college degree because they know you know now how to think more broadly. You have more advanced communication skills and an aptitude to learn. Okay, so don't feel like I don't know what I'm going to be able to bring to the table. They just want to know that you have the ability to learn and handle yourself professionally and have a good work ethic. And I hate to say it, but your generation has this, stigma that you guys don't want to work as hard as the older folks. Well, guess what I coin you guys are? You're the work smarter, not harder group, okay? In my day, we were willing to put in 60, 70 hours. You all try to figure out how can you accomplish the same level of work in a shorter period of time. And so I think that it's important to make sure that you're not focusing on what time does work get out and do I have to come to the office, because that plays into their fear already that you're not going to be a hard worker. So what potential employers want to know is you're going to come in, you're going to work hard, you're driven, and you have the ability to learn, and you love to learn new things. Okay, so don't feel like I don't have that much experience. What can I do? They just want to hire the aptitude and the work, because guess what? They cannot teach drive, they cannot teach passion, and they can't teach work ethic. You either have it or you don't. And they just want to know you have those things, okay? The next piece, like I said, coming down the funnel, most impactful, but takes the most amount of time, are the interviews. When you go to the interviews, please make sure you dress professionally. Even if they are a work casual environment, you wear a suit. Do you know I had one HR person tell me 2 weeks ago, when I do an online interview, I tell the candidates to stand up. Like they said, when they stand up, I had one guy in pajamas on the bottom half. And it said to me,
Oh no, that was a funny story.
What did it say?
While she's gone, my brother actually told me that that happened to him once, and he was luckily wearing pants. But now from now on, I like always wear dress pants for it because I get nervous I'm gonna be asked that.
I know, that's like my biggest fear, a pants check.
I mean, while she's gone, just so it's not just like silence, I would say for everybody that's going through interviews, something that's really helped me out was I've always like prepared a lot when I'm going into an interview, but then the first couple ones that I've had, I found that I prepared a ton and then I got to the interview and then, the nerves would kick in and I would find myself, every interview starts just like, tell me about yourself. And so first for that, I tried to plan out everything I was going to say. And then I started speaking too fast, and, whenever they would ask me a question, I wouldn't take a pause. So my biggest advice, because this was the biggest issue I had, would just be to slow down, breathe, and know that, as long as you do the best you can, like one job isn't going to define your success, and your career path. So just take it easy. But
Yeah. Alandro, I have something to add as well. While we have Professor Sriram here, why don't we take some advice from him? He's the advisor for our real estate program.
yeah, that'd be great.
So what would your
What?
advice be, Dr. Sriram?
No, I think I would second what Julie said. This when somebody gets hired for a job, when we hire a student for a program, the biggest question everyone is trying to answer, whether somebody trying to hire for a program, the goal for both is the same. They want the student or the employee to be successful. So all the scores and everything that you submit, we don't see the person. So we're trying to draw a picture of the person behind all this paperwork. For the job interviewers, they have a little more access to how you look, who you are, and how you dress. Whether you like it or not, right or wrong, people try to create an impression. They try to predict, is this person going to be successful? Is this person serious about this? It goes without saying, there was a student at one point. He was a fairly bright student. He was part of a student society. This was in finance in Colorado. He loves keyboarding, and all that. And he was struggling to get jobs. He was a bright student and everything. Real simple. You look at his LinkedIn, Facebook, and all these pages, it was basically in shorts on a beach, and those are the pictures, which is, we've come to a point where we know that that's pretty stupid. But the bottom line is people try to find anything and everything to assure themselves that this will be a successful candidate, be it for a job, be it for a program. So that's the way everybody operates. Still in the Zoom world or Teams or whatever it is, that concern hasn't gone away just because we're all now virtual. The concern of, will this person succeed? So the ones that Julie were pointing out, I think that's a very valuable point. If you're going for a level 1 position, dress up as though you're going for interviewing for a level 2 position. I think those are important. Again, people try to judge again to predict if you're going to be a successful person. So that's.
And I'll just echo into that, because when I work with companies, when they hire an individual, they're making a financial investment in that hire. And when you go to buy a computer, it's straightforward. You have all the specifications of the computer. There's no risk involved. You know how fast it's going to be, how much memory there is, that kind of thing. When you go to hire an individual for a job, you only have half the information. Nobody says, oh, Conti's going to work 12 hours a day and Arden's going to do, is whatever it takes to get the job done. They're going on what you're telling them. And so thank you for those comments, because that's the thing they say to me is, how do we really know they're going to do what they say they're going to do? And they're looking for just any clue that this could be a bad hire, because they don't want to take the risk of making a bad investment. It is a financial investment for them. And if they make a bad hire and there's a parting of ways, they lose additional money because now the position is vacant for so many months, plus the time and investment they put in the candidate hire, who's ultimately not going to give them the return on investment because there was a parting of ways. So again, I heard Alejandro laughing at me, but this HR professional did say, I make them stand up. And she said, Julie, there was a candidate that had pajamas on the bottom and a suit and tie on the top. And that told me they weren't really in it to win it. And so anyway, they're just, really looking for, they're scared. They're scared they're going to make a bad hire. So you need to give them every confidence they're making a good hire. So I couldn't echo more strongly again with what you were saying. Thank you. So those job interviews are very important when not only how you're managing your brand, Prepare for the interview. Interviewing is a specific skill, okay? Being a financial analyst or a broker is a different skill. In order to be successful in your interviewing, you need to prep like you're writing a research paper. You need to go to their website, you need to go to LinkedIn, you need to talk to people who have worked there. I just Googled the company's name to see if recent articles come up, like they built a development or they were awarded best place to work, and make reference during your interview. Oh, when I was researching your website in preparation of the interview, or as I was reading through the Dallas Business Journal, I saw that you recently delivered this project. I got to tell you, my real estate clients love it when you say, oh, I took this weekend and I drove around your properties. Even if you're going for a financial analyst, they want to know that you care and you're engaged and you really have an interest in their business because they're investing in you. So prepping for an interview is almost like writing a research paper. You should be spending 2 to 3 hours on learning about the company and all the people who work there, and make a connection. We like people like ourselves. I'll have to tell you, one of the biggest clients I ever got, when I researched him, I found out he and his wife rode Harleys. Well, my husband and I ride Harleys. And when I went in to meet with him after we did the rapport building, I said, by the way, what kind of bike do you have? He says, what do you mean? I said, well, I see you ride Harleys. We do too. Just the fact that we both rode Harleys made us connect on a personal level. And there was this instant level of trust because, you know, we had this like-minded thought that we like to see the country on two wheels and really experience the landscape versus just flying over it or driving through it. So it sounds like a little thing. The other thing is, I will tell you that children, which my children are 29 to 33, all of my children have gotten their jobs from other classmates.
Dr. Sriram, do you want to add on if I may request?
I'm so sorry. I don't know what's wrong with my signal today. So I'm going to pause there and see if you guys have any questions before I go on to the last couple of slides.
Whenever you were talking about how you need to build confidence in your interviewer, in you because of the return on investment and stuff, it made me think about a meeting that I had with Bob Young yesterday. I was asking him like how, basically about the job search and everything. And he told me that I need to have many proof sources. And basically what he said is that's like whenever people start doubting you, you need to prove yourself. And that could be like what tools you're specialized in, the scholarships that you've gotten, your like leadership positions and stuff like that. And I guess to help other people on this call, how do you suggest people figure out their proof sources and stuff like that?
That's a great question, and it's very powerful. I have had individuals in interviews before who said, you know what, I didn't know if you'd be interested, but I brought a case study project we completed in our course on valuation, and I did the financial cash flow model. Can I show you that real quick? That was really impactful, that they really were passionate about what they did and had confidence in their work and brought it to share with me. So if you have a paper you've written. I have individuals, when I teach Argus, ask me to send them a certificate of completion, just physically showing, here, look, I got a certificate of completion in the Argus cash flow class I took. Any examples you have? And Arden, for you, you've got those emails from the scholarships you earned that you could print out and take those into the interview and say, it just is more tangible to bring those proofs of evidence, like Mr. Young was saying. So
Right.
that is very impactful. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I also learned that Arden was awarded the Crew Scholarship Award last year.
Yeah, last year. Thank you.
Yes, congratulations on that.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's been really amazing being involved with Crew because I've met so many women in real estate, and they've been able to give me a lot of advice on starting off my career. And I definitely just recommend getting involved in organizations like that that you think you would fit in with, because it's been a lot of help. And even like an organization like your real estate club, it's awesome.
Yes, Brenna from Crew has been very instrumental and very supportive in connecting UTA and SSRE and Crew. So we just had an event with her. Yes, but over to you, Miss Julie. Thank you.
Yeah, Brenna is amazing. By the way, I've been a member of Crew since I'm 21 years old, and I'm an old lady now. And it's a great organization. Alejandro, do you mind going to the next slide? That's a great segue into the industry associations. In commercial real estate, and I've got 2 slides here of industry associations. There is an industry association that aligns with most asset class types as well as particular areas. So of course you have the Appraisal Institute for Appraisal, BOMA, Building Management and Owners Association. There again, there's not enough young people to fill the available positions. They are proactively coming into our universities, like you mentioned, Conti Crew, CCIM, because they want to help identify and attract young talent into the companies. And so if you think you may be interested in a particular area of real estate, you could go and do some research on these industry association websites. They also have student memberships. And a student membership, to add that to your resume, is another way of saying to a potential employer, I'm all in. I want to be in commercial real estate. So if you have a student membership to Crew or NAIOP or ULI, those kinds of things are the proof that Arden's talking about, that you're really engaged, you're really interested. And guess what? You now, as a member, get access to their entire membership directory. So when you talk about developing your roadmap for a job search, what is a better introduction to say, hi, so-and-so, I'm a student member of the same organization you belong to, and I wanted the opportunity to network with you on this particular topic. Again, your commonality is that industry association membership. And so these industry associations are a great way to get direct access to real estate professionals and network with them. And I can't tell you, if I were you, I would attend as many of these events as you can, because that's how you're going to learn the language of real estate, what's happening in the marketplace, and it puts you in even better position when you go to interview to say, you know, when I attended the Crew event, the panelists were saying XYZ about performance of industrial in today's market, and my takeaway from that was Y. You know, oh my goodness, they're going to be so impressed that you took your personal time to attend an industry event and you're continuing to learn about the industry even outside the classroom. So I would recommend researching these. Many of them have information on careers in commercial real estate. And like I said, you will have access to the membership. Arden, when she became a student member of Crew, now she has access to over 10,000 members across North America. Okay, that's a good place to start looking for a job. Okay, we're coming. Go ahead.
If I'm not mistaken, when you were a leader in Crew, didn't you tell me that you started the student membership?
I did start the student membership. Yeah.
That is the coolest thing
Thank you for
ever.
that. Thank you for that. It really helps.
Yeah,
Well,
Yes.
yeah,
Really
you're
helps,
welcome.
guys.
And they, by the way, they wanted to limit it to undergrad, and I said, why undergrad? Why not law school students? Why not graduate students? You know, so, but yes, Arden, thank you for bringing that up. Alejandro, next slide, please, sir. Okay, with that product, this is your go-to-market strategy, you as the product. What we know from market research is people don't remember a product if it isn't put in front of them every 28 days. So after you do your interview, be sure to follow up with a thank you note. And again, it doesn't have to be US mail, email a thank you note. And then every 28 days, circle back to the people you've already spoken to reconnect. And the message shouldn't be, oh, I'm still out here looking for a job. It's, oh, when you and I met, we talked about the impact of the new administration on commercial real estate. I found this article I thought you might be interested in hearing about. Okay, so again, staying in front of your audience every 28 days is a way to keep you top of mind. I always say your last interview question, if you're doing an informational interview, should be, who else would you recommend I speak to that might be able to provide insight on the industry? And that perpetuates your call list, okay? So when an individual is looking for a job, again, treat it like a research paper. Gather the information, keep an Excel sheet of who you talk to, what their contact information is, what day you talk to them, and circle back every 28 days. Oh, as an example, if it was one of our students, you could say, I wanted to personally invite you to the upcoming real estate symposium on May 6th. It's going to be really great. The keynote speakers from the Federal Reserve Bank. Again, you're giving them something versus taking their time and information, and people really appreciate that. So every 28 days, make sure you circle back to your network, okay? Next slide, Alejandro. Okay, so resume builder. So this is the last phase of your product cycle. You've been successful interviewing. You've got the job. You cannot let off the gas pedal, okay? I say if you're a product and you're a public company, your stock price is only as good as if you keep reinvesting in yourself. Continue your education, whether it's going to graduate school, get an industry association designation, a license, go to continuing education and list that on your resume. I have individuals who are my age who have not kept up with their stock price and investing in themselves, not keeping up with technology, not keeping up with their education, and now their stock price has declined. They reached a peak and now they're taking less money than they were making before because they didn't continue to invest in themselves. So if you want to continue to elevate through your career and advance and make more money, you have to continue to invest in yourself. I think that's Alejandro's way to say you're done.
Yeah, I'm trying to get back to where I was.
Okay, that's it.
I just put in the chat. Oh, sorry. I just put in the chat the link to register for the real estate symposium. I believe that's May 6th. So if y'all want to register for that, and Professor Lynch, if you want to speak on it a little bit, you can. Oh, I just realized she's a little frozen right now. But yeah, I think it's May 6th, and she was talking about it in the beginning of the meeting, but we have a lot of really great keynote speakers, and it's information that's never been really talked about before, and it's going to be really good. And Professor Lynch, I think you're back if you want to talk about it a little bit.
Are you talking about the real estate symposium?
Yes.
Yeah. So the real estate symposium, we can send you the link and information to it, is at 11:45 on Thursday, May 6th, and the keynote speaker is the real estate expert from the Federal Reserve Bank. Interesting story, when 2008 and 9 happened and the government was reactionary to the collapse in the market. After that, their go-forward strategy was to develop a position to be proactively in front of what was happening in the marketplace. And they created the position Brian Bailey has, which is his whole charter is to go out and speak to executives of commercial real estate companies and economists that supply information to the real estate industry and get the story behind the numbers and really stay ahead of what's happening. He goes and reports to the Federal Reserve Bank board and tells them the story behind the numbers. He has an inordinate amount of information. I'm only sorry the program isn't 8 hours long, because he could fill all 8 hours with extremely valuable information. But it's from 11:45 to 1 o'clock. With Brian Bailey, the Federal Reserve Bank real estate expert. And our moderators are Bob Young from the Weitzman Group, Kay Cotter, who was an executive of the Staubach Groups before they sold to JLL. And we also have Bill Guthrie, who is a senior vice president at KDC, who did the build-to-suits for Toyota and Liberty Mutual and things, some he can't even talk about yet, but he really has, they all have a pulse of what's going on in the marketplace. We've had 3 pre-planning meetings, and I'm just going to tell you the program is chock filled with exceptional current information. Nothing will be revisionist history of what happened during COVID. It's the go forward plan and vision.
Right. I guess Moshad has a question. Moshad, are you online?
Hello. Yes, I had a question, but she answered my question during her speech, so I'm done. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for coming.
No problem. Thank you. It was very, very useful speech. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Julie, I've already registered for your event.
Oh, great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, doesn't have any address.
It's virtual. It's on Teams. You'll get a received email that has a link to join on May 6th.
Yeah, I'm gonna put the link in the chat box if anybody wants to register.
Perfect.
Yes, that will help. Yes.
Arden has put the link in there. That's how I went in and registered.
Oh, you did, Arden. Of course, she's always 3 steps ahead of me. Yeah.
That's how I register. Thank you, Arden.
Of course.
I have a question here from a participant. Ms. Lynch, would you provide more information on how to draft a resumes, or is there any way we can contact you or your company?
You know, really the best resource is your university career center. They have phenomenal resources and templates for you to follow. So I'm going to direct you back to your career center at your university, and they have people just dedicated to help with resume writing.
There's another one. Do you coach on how to prepare for an interview?
I do. You know, I've been fortunate to work with executives who worked at the same company for 25 years and all of a sudden they're out looking for a job. Again, interviewing is a specific skill. And so I do coaching on successful interviewing techniques. But you know what? If you guys are really interested, let's do another program and I'm happy to give everybody insight on effective interviewing techniques.
Yeah, that's a great idea. We'll have to get in touch with Arden and Alondro.
Of course, that sounds like a really good event.
Yes, it is. Any more questions?
I guess I have one. Professor Lynch, have you heard of students having more of a hard time getting hired after the pandemic because people aren't hiring because of budgeting reasons or anything? And I guess what's your advice to them in their struggle?
You know, Arden, we're all living in real time, and what I've seen in the last 2 weeks is a pickup of job opportunities. This time last year, we had probably half of the amount of jobs available, but today there are several jobs out there, and in fact, in my own company, just this week, 3 new positions have come in, and so I'm not seeing a freeze in hiring in real estate jobs. Here's the thing, the real estate's there. Somebody's got to manage it, whether it's property management, asset management, somebody's got to lend money on it, somebody's got to value it, it's there. And fortunately, we're in North Texas and the demand for new real estate is very strong. And so we've got shovels going in the ground for new developments. The challenge with that is the cost of construction materials and the limited supply of construction materials. But there are plenty of jobs out there, and what I'm hearing is just in the last 2 weeks, really, even more opportunities are coming forward.
That's really good to hear, and it seems like towards the end of this year, even it's going to just keep getting better. So that's a good trend. And also, if everyone can look at this screen and smile, I'm going to take a screenshot for our website.
Smile, Lorenzo.
Thank you.
Oh, that's a great picture. Any other questions I can help with?
I had one, Professor Lynch. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but you mentioned in the interviews about bringing some reading some articles that you could bring in kind of relevant to the company that you're interviewing with. What other ones besides like the Dallas Business Journal, because you mentioned that one, what other ones would you recommend kind of browsing through for, more specific real estate articles or anything kind of just North Texas related even?
Oh, yeah, that's a great question. Well, first of all, I would consider who your audience is. So in other words, if you're going to talk to somebody on the debt side versus the equity side, and think about what's going to bring them value. And so good. And
Man, tough day for her internet. That's tough.
sorry. The industry associations typically have in-house market research departments with the current data. Another one I like is the National Home Builders Association. They have a lot of information on housing and interest rates and prices. So go to the industry association websites and look at their current research. Cushman and Wakefield, I really like their market reports, and they have them by asset class type, by local market. So know who you're going to meet with and understand what would bring them value in terms of the type of information you're bringing them.
Cool. Awesome. That sounds good. Appreciate it, Professor.
You're welcome.
And if we don't have any more questions, I just wanted to hop on and say that we were doing a raffle during this meeting, and Conti's business actually was nice enough to gift the raffle winners 3 gift bags worth $20 each. And the winners are picked at random, and they are Mario Rapaj, Malid Moshe, and Vandala Menifee. So if you could,
Thank you.
Of course, contact Conti and give her your email address, and then she'll be in contact with you to get you that bag.
Arden, but would they have my email, or will you share it with them? Yeah.
Oh, great.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
That's like a cherry on the top, you guys. I just wanted to say thank you again to Professor Lynch and Dr. Sriram and Arden and everybody else there, and Alejandro and Kanti. So you guys have done a fantastic job. I don't know if, I'm sure you don't know me. I'm the first semester in MBA, but it's been like a blessing. Since first I spoke with Dr. Lynch and I just got to connect with you guys. I guess that's what I was looking for. You know, I feel like I'm home now with all of you and everything, all the information. So thank you again. And I really appreciate what you're doing.
Well, thank you for attending, Mario. You see, I've never met anybody who's in the industry who's not passionate about it. Welcome to the club.
Thank you.
And we'll talk to you tomorrow, Mario. I know we have an interview with you.
That's right. That's right. And I'm sorry I don't have my camera, but I'm trying to be respectful. So.
No worries.
Right. So thank you, Ms. Lynch, for spending your time and sharing the insights, preparing us all up, and all the confusions are now kind of settled, I hope. So there will be some graduates who will be out there, and I think by now they should be quite prepared. And Arden and Alejandro, let's plan for the next one. So when it comes from Ms. Lynch, then why not?
Absolutely.
Well, thanks for the opportunity. It's so good to see everybody, and I wish you a lot of luck with your job searches. If there's anything I can do to help out, please don't hesitate to reach out to me.
Yes, and thank you, Dr. Sriram, for all the support. And he is the one who actually introduced me to Ms. Lynch. So, see the connection. Thank you. And thank you to all our guests who are here today. Stay safe. I believe there's going to be bad weather. And Ms. Lynch said there's going to be hailstorms. And Ms. Vandala had to cancel an event today, unfortunately. So stay safe and stay warm. Stay at home.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Care,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bless. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Bye.